And I will always find a way to survive. I'm not a failure, but I know what it's like. I can take it or leave it or die. Stay. You don't always know where you stand till you know that you won't run away. There's something inside me.
Let's talk about SummerSlam 1993. SummerSlam 93 is one of those WWE shows where you could almost hear Vince McMahon saying, "This'll work," while the audience collectively shrugs. It's not a disaster, but it's the kind of show where you walk away thinking, that was fine, but why did we bother? Let's dig into it. Let's start with the first match, Razor Ramon versus Ted DiBiase. This was DiBiase's swan song on pay-per-view, and Razor needed a bounce-back win after getting embarrassed by the 1-2-3 Kid a few months prior. It did its job, DiBiase sold well, Razor got the win, but the match itself was just paint by numbers. Nothing bad, nothing special. Think of it as an appetizer you forget about once the main course arrives. Next, it is for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The Steiner Brothers versus the Heavenly Bodies. Now this was fun. Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies were great Southern tag heels, and the Steiners were in peak suplex you into next week form. The crowd got into it, and it was one of the few matches that felt like it could have been a good SummerSlam. Crisp work, hard hitting, and a showcase that WWE rarely gave its tag division. Next, it is Shawn Michaels versus Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental Championship. On paper, this looks like a dream match. HBK versus Perfect sounds like it should be an all-timer. And execution, just pretty good. The chemistry was a little off. The count-out finish didn't help, and the crowd wanted more than what they got. This was more teaser trailer than full movie. Diesel at ringside was the most notable thing. It was clearly the start of HBK's run as a big-time singles guy. Next, it is the IRS versus the 1-2-3 Kid. IRS matches are usually the definition of meh, but give credit where it's due. The Kid bumped like a maniac to make this look respectable. Solid for what it was, but nobody was buying IRS as anything beyond a mid-card gatekeeper. Next, it is technically two matches. Well, kind of. It is Bret Hart versus Doink the Clown and Bret Hart versus Jerry the King Lawler. This was the real meat of the show. Bret was untouchable in 93. He could drag a good match out of anyone, even an evil clown. The Doink match was decent chaos, but the Lawler feud is what gave this SummerSlam its identity. Lawler was at his slimy best, faking the leg injury, ducking Bret, then sneaking in the cheap shot. Their match was heated and had great storytelling. Bret's righteous fury versus Lawler's rat-like cowardice. The DQ finish hurt it, but the feud had legs and made the show feel less lifeless. Next is Ludwig Borga. Remember that guy? Yeah, nobody does. Versus Marty Jannetty. It squashed to build Borga as a monster. Problem was, no one cared about Borga. He looked like a gym teacher who wandered into the ring by accident. Marty deserved better, but this was a bathroom break. Next, it is the worst match of the show, and it's like saying this because my favorite of all time is he's in this match. It just sucks. Let's get into it. Undertaker versus Giant González in a rest in peace match. You could feel the crowd's collective suffering here. This feud was already infamous after their WrestleMania stinker, and WWE bizarrely decided to run it back. Quote unquote, rest in peace sounded cool, but was just a no DQ, no countout match that still managed to be an absolute train wreck. This was the last we saw of González in WWE, which was a mercy. Okay, now let's get to the next match. Smoking Guns and Tatanka versus Bam Bam Bigelow and the Head Shrinkers. A classic six-man filler match. It was energetic, the crowd popped for Tatanka, and the heels made the babyfaces look good. Nothing groundbreaking, but entertaining enough, kind of the palate cleanser of the Undertaker's debacle. That match is... Undertaker's the greatest of all time, but that match is just... Ugh. Just being honest here. And now let's get to the main event of the show. Lex Luger versus Yokozuna for the WWE title. This is the infamous Lex Express payoff. Except it wasn't. Luger wins by countout. No title change, and the confetti still falls as if he won the belt. It was supposed to cement Lex as the next Hogan, but the crowd knew a fake coronation when they saw one. It killed the momentum dead. Yokozuna remained a dominant heel champion, but Luger was damaged goods after this. Vince clearly wanted him to be the guy, but the execution turned him into a meh mid-carder instead of a superstar. So overall show, SummerSlam 93 was a definition of a middle-of-the-road pay-per-view. You had solid wrestling in spots, sundry matches that underdelivered, filler that passed the time, and a few flat-out stinkers. The show is remembered more for what it felt to do. Launch Luger into superstardom than for anything it accomplished. It's not watchable, you'll be entertained, but it's like eating at a chain restaurant. Fine while you're there, forgettable 5 minutes later. The fun wrinkle here is how different the WWE might have looked if they had actually pulled the trigger on Lex as champion. Instead, the counter finish basically told fans, don't bother investing too much. Bret will carry the company's in-ring credibility, while Luger fizzled. Now, that's the show out of the way. I actually want to go in depth about the Lex Express and why it failed. So, let's begin. The Lex Express on paper, Vince thought he had the formula. Take a jacked up All-American hero, give him a patriotic makeover, and boom, you got Hulk Hogan 2.0. The problem is, the world had changed since 1985, and Lex Luger was no Hulk Hogan. Here's the anatomy of the failure of why it just failed big time. Number one, the failed patriotic rebrand. Lex Luger debuted in WWE as the narcissist, a cocky bodybuilder who ogled himself in mirrors. He was smug, arrogant, and honestly, pretty good in that role. Then out of nowhere, WWE decided to flip him into this America's golden boy. They literally had him body slam Yokozuna on the I think it was on the USS a interpret, I think. Damn, my mind fuzzed out a little bit, but let me know if I'm wrong or right, And it was also it happened. Yeah, actually I remember. Yes, he body slammed Yokozuna on the USS interpret in a made-for-TV stunt. The crowd popped huge that day, but that was spectacle, not substance. And the problem is that fans don't just forget your heel persona overnight. It felt forced. Like a bad rebrand where the guy who was flexing in mirrors last month is suddenly kissing babies on a campaign bus. Number two, the Lex Express campaign. WWE put him on a tour bus painted red, white, and blue and sent him across the country shaking hands like a presidential candidate. It was meant to build him as the people's champ, but instead it looked like Vince's PR machine screaming, "Please love him! Here's our new Hogan!" Problem: wrestling fans hate being told who to cheer. Organic heroes like Stone Cold or if you're gonna go by the modern times, Daniel Bryan, and like catch fire because fans chose them, not because they're packaged like an action figure. Number three, that countout finish. SummerSlam 93 should have been Lex Luger's crowning moment. Yokozuna was built up as an unstoppable monster, and Lex body slamming him was supposed to be the modern Hogan and Andre moment. Instead of giving him the belt, WWE booked Lex to win by countout. They still celebrated like he won the title, confetti, balloons, and the whole 9 yards. But fans weren't stupid. They saw through the fake coronation. And another problem is that you can't pretend someone's the champ when they didn't actually win the championship. That finish was death for his momentum. Number four, Lex himself. Here's the hard truth, everyone. Lex didn't have Hogan's charisma or Bret's in-ring brilliance. He looked like a star, but he didn't feel like one. Hogan could fiery promos that connected with kids. Bret was authentic and respected. Lex's promos were wooden, his character felt hollow, and while he was a decent worker, he wasn't carrying a 20-minute matches to classic territory. Fans could sense the manufactured quality. And number 5, the changing tides. By 93, the WWE was shifting audiences. The Hulkamania cartoon era was fading, and fans were warming to more realistic, athletic wrestlers like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. A squeaky clean superhero character felt outdated, almost corny. Lex was a relic of a past formula, while Bret felt like the future. So, the aftermath. Luger never recovered from that SummerSlam countout. He was still pushed hard. He co-won the '94 Royal Rumble victory with Bret, but by then the crowd had chosen Bret as the real top guy. WWE wanted Luger to be the guy. The fans wanted Bret. I'm pretty sure y'all who can guess who won on that part. So, in short, the Lex Express failed because it was manufactured hype without payoff. Fans don't buy into someone just because a buzz tells them to, and nothing kills momentum faster than a non-finish in the biggest match of your life. If WWE had actually put the belt on Lex on SummerSlam '93, it might have worked for a few months, but long term, I think the writing was on the wall. Fans were going to rally around Bret anyway.
My life, and I will always find a way to survive. I'm not a failure, but I know what it's like.